Hi, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And today I am going to go through a countdown or just give you an idea of what types of chocolates are out there and which types might be causing some agitation for you and where those sugars are hidden. This is a company, Iceland chocolate, 70% bitter, extra bitter. It is bitter, but it does have 14 grams of fat, and it also has, let's see what the sugar content is on this, 14 grams with 12 grams of sugar. Now that's per serving size. They're saying the serving size container, there's about 5 in here, and there's 2 bars. So you got to think about, how that evens out. But just to give you a general idea of grams of fat per sugar content. And you have to be very careful with these sugars that are hidden in some of these chocolates. There's also some changes with when you go from dark to a lighter chocolate, changes in the potassium and iron content and the calcium. But let's go to this one. This is espresso beans and dark chocolate. Carbs, total 15 grams, total sugars 8. So from what I have here, these are the more darker chocolates. These are the ones that a lot of people are eating that are maybe are better for them. They believe that are better for them. But I'm just making you aware of what the carb content is and the added sugars. The added sugars are 8 grams. They're saying one serving size is 1 ounce, which is a third of the bar. Okay, so you got to take that into consideration. Maybe one piece for one person is going to be very different. You're going to have a different reaction than for someone else. So maybe you can have 2 pieces. Now, this is one of the better chocolates that does not have, it's got no refined sugar, no cane sugar, no natural flavors, no dairy, no sugar alcohols, no stevia, no soy lecithin, and no sunflower lecithin. One of the better brands. But it does have total carbohydrate of 13 grams. Serving size is considered 2 tablespoons. So, you want to take that into consideration. The added sugars on this is 9 grams. So that's in the higher end. But if you have 1 tablespoon of this, then you're reducing that sugar content. Just to consider that, these types of chocolates, even though they're supposed to be better for you, and it is good that they don't have any sugar alcohols, because that's one of the things we're going to point out down the road over here. But Hue chocolates is one of the ones that I've eaten. Some of the brands that we have become accustomed to, like Nestle's and Hershey's and things like that, these are Hershey's, and they have total fat of 4.5 grams of fat. The sugar content, it says, is 8 added grams of sugar. And they're saying that a serving size is 1 tablespoon. So you're getting 8 grams of sugar per tablespoon. That's one of the higher sugar content chocolates. You also want to remember, there are other things in here. Calcium, potassium, and iron are in chocolate. And sometimes, when we think of metal imbalances, we don't give it thought that people that eat a lot of dark chocolate or a lot of chocolate may have some, that might be a trigger for them, because maybe there's some other heavy metals in their body that they've accumulated that are tricking them up with things. Okay, so this is Artisan Collection from Nestle. It's a Toll House, and it's got total sugars 7 grams, and the added sugars are 7 grams. Okay, so they added 7 grams of sugar, and we're talking about 4 grams of fat. There's more sugar than fat in this brand. And even though it tastes very dark chocolate, it's unsweetened, it says, this does have, you just have to, the total carb content is 9 grams, and the servings is 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon is total carbs 9 grams, 7 grams of sugar. So you're getting 7 grams of sugar in your tablespoon. There we're talking again. This might be a situation where you have these and you want to lower that sugar content per serving. You could add something of an unsweetened chocolate, and that would maybe lower the sugar content. I don't always say that that's the best thing, but you know, that might work if you don't want to throw that chocolate away. But if you want to reduce sugars in all ways, you'll use the lower sugar content. Okay, this one is a Trader Joe's brand, and it's got 13 grams of carbs. It's got 13 grams of fat. So grams of carb per fat is the same. 3 squares, you're getting 13 grams of carb. So it's 7 grams of sugar. So for 3 little squares, you're getting 7 grams of sugar. So you might be okay with a meal having 1 little square. You know, this is what we're coming down to. You don't want to go overboard, but it is a sugar. And if you're eating other carbohydrates with your meal, this is a sugar. So this one has 14 grams of carbohydrates with 5 added sugars, and it is this is green and blacks. They have 85% cacao, and you know, this has 21 grams of fat. Now there are other things in here that you have to consider. So it's got the organic chocolate, it's got the organic cocoa butter, organic raw cane sugar. No matter what it's called, it is sugar. So, and it also has vanilla extract, usually has alcohol in it. So you want to take that into consideration. So we're going to look at the iron content here. This one has 25%. This is 2.5 servings, which is 12 pieces. Okay. And these are per serving. So you got to remember too, where you are with your sugar tolerance levels and what your HbA1c is. Because if you start snacking on something like this, it is going to affect you. Now these, again, I love this brand, and I sort of was very attached to it. Gluten-free, certified, dairy-free. So Hail Mary, love the name. Total carbohydrates, 11 grams per 8 grams of fat. So you've got more carbohydrates than fats. Although the fat to sugar ratio, which is the added sugar, 7 grams, equals out. Okay. And this does have calcium. Some of these are, you know, they do show that they have calcium. I don't know, you know, what the breakdown is with some of these because of the dairy content. So this one says it's containing coconut. But if you look at the first ingredient on this, it is organic maple syrup. Okay. So organic maple syrup is sugar. So something to keep into consideration. My puppy dog says he doesn't like me talking because he wants to go outside. Anyway, so here we are with our chocolate, Guittard. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly. It's a non-GMO, fair trade, certified. So the sugar content, 5 grams of added sugars. Total fat, 6 grams. Okay, 5 to 6. Total carbs, 8 grams. So that's got some carb content. Again, take into consideration what you're doing when you're eating this or using this. What part of your baking or making chocolates or whatever you're doing with it. And it says 1/4 of a bar is 15 grams. And there's a couple of bars in here. So 1/4 of a bar is what you're talking about for this dosage. So keep that in mind. It does not give a calcium content. It gives 6% for the iron. Does not have a potassium. And that's very interesting because most of these chocolates contain potassium. And one of the things that you're going to find later on here, Baxter, is that the potassium content is huge. As in this bar, potassium's 180 milligrams. That's per 10 pieces. So there's 3 servings per container. It's got 15 grams of fat. That's good in the fat area. 10 in the carbs, but 5 added sugars. So it's lower in the sugars, but it still is a carbohydrate. So, there's 10 grams of carbohydrates. You must be aware of what you are eating in addition to this piece of chocolate. It will have an effect on your blood sugar, as does everything else. And with the potassium in there, sometimes people were eating so many bananas that they're going to go into potassium overload more than anything. They just eat a ton of potassium and don't even realize it. This one has 260 milligrams of potassium. Okay, they have some iron. They do not show any calcium. They are showing 11 total carbs with 3 grams of added sugar, which is a good combo, and 13 grams of fat. So you've got a greater fat to carb ratio. So that is a small, now you got to remember 1 ounce is a third of the bar. Okay, so that one, you get a little bit more chocolate for yourself to eat, but you have to be careful because there's a potassium thing here going on. Now, here we go with the darkest of darks, 95%. Okay, the potassium gets doubled. 485 milligrams per serving, okay? And then there's iron. You see it, it's adding up 2 milligrams, 21, this is milligrams of calcium. And so once it gets more concentrated, you see more concentrated values at the bottom. There's 8 grams of carbohydrates to 18 grams of fat, higher fat content to carbohydrates. You can have 4 pieces, it says, but everybody's body's different. So whatever you can tolerate might be different than somebody else. And your potassium levels have something to do with it. So if you're eating a ton of potassium, your body's going to have to respond to that. So if you're eating too much dark chocolate, your body will do something to respond to that, okay? So now here we are with another one. This is the 100% dark chocolate. Let's look at the fat carbohydrate combination here. The fat is 26 grams. The total carbs are 12 grams. And you have no added sugar. So this is a super concentrated dark chocolate. It has some 20% or 4 milligrams of iron. The calcium is 41 milligrams. And the potassium now is 749 milligrams. So the darker you go, the higher the potassium count. Do not go around adding potassium to your diet if you're eating dark chocolate. So then we go to the baking squares. There's all kinds of baker squares. These are the darkest of dark. This one, though, says that the potassium content is 150 milligrams per 2 pieces. So if you're going to use a whole thing, you know that carbs are low, 4 grams. Fat is 7, so the carb to fat ratio, there's more fat than carbs. And there's total sugars, it says 0. So there's no sugars. Be careful of your potassium levels, and just know that these foods do affect you, and they are a part of course, Valentine's Day. So I hope that you can enjoy your Valentine's Day safely. And if you join me this weekend, hello, and if you join me this weekend or this Thursday, we'll go over some more fun treats for kids for Valentine's Day. So Diane Greco-Allen, family food safety, and diabetes prevention is what I'm all about. Pancreatitis awareness. Have a blessed day, and look for the link that I'll be posting for Thursday's event. Thanks.